there is that part, like, and this is 8 years of Los Angeles talking. This is a lot of, I'm a cynical East Coaster and a jaded former LA transplant, so I hate everybody. That's important. And I'm looking at it as there are a lot of people who just don't have the talent and don't have the ability to do it. And and I'm not saying that in a way of putting anybody down. It's just like you actually have to be good enough to even get the chance.
Yeah, like your work has to be good, but you have to know how to get through that door.
Yes, because when the opportunity comes, if you can't deliver, it's over before it begins.
Yeah.
And that's the part like people don't.
That's the part people don't really click with. They're like,
right.
They're like, why didn't I just go? I'm like, because if you went, you would crash and burn.
Yes.
And hate the world for it.
Yes.
I'd rather you hate the world now and do the work.
Well, that's why I'm sure I pissed a lot of people off during my time Uber driving in Los Angeles to keep myself afloat, because entertainment work doesn't come easy, folks. I would drive a lot of people who just moved into town, obviously, didn't have a car and whatever. And, we'd talk about their story or something. Now, granted, when I moved back to LA for 2012 to 2018, it was for voiceover and for radio and for stuff like that. Like, that was the goal when I was going out there. Mm-hmm. Primarily, anyway. Like, that was the kind of... I thought that would be the foot in the door to everything else. But because I've been podcasting and because of, I've done classes and stuff like that, I said, okay, I think this is within reach. Yeah. I believe I can do this. Let me try. And better to be in proximity. Anyway, so I've been out there grinding away at that for a while. And I didn't start Uber driving until 4 years later in 2016 when I had no choice because I had rent. That rent was not going away. Yeah. And my landlord did not care how I paid it. So I started Uber driving. Anyway, I would drive a lot of people who would come out there and they'd say, like, I just moved here, I figure I'll give it 6 months. And, if nothing happens, then I'm just going to head home. And I would say, listen, don't even unpack your suitcase. If you want to come out here and you're only going to give it 6 months, like, things aren't going to happen. It's not. And if you expect, like, things will open up because you came here, that's not how it works at all. Like, nobody knows you're here, and they won't know you're here after 6 months.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not saying that to be, and I would tell them, like, I'm just being honest, not saying it to be a dick, because I would say, like, look, I've been out here for 4 years. I'm a voice actor. I've been working at a lot of stuff. It's like, you can't get anything done in 6 months. Like, maybe somebody can, but probably not.
Yeah.
Like, but don't expect it to be you. Don't think you're that lucky. And I'm sure a lot of people didn't like hearing that, but the reality is, like, no, you actually do need to give it, like, you need to establish a beachhead for yourself and you try to lay down some roots. Like, if you're going to do this, you need to really try to do this. Like, if you want to go home and be big fish in a little pond, if you had something good going at home, then go home and enjoy that, because it's hard. It's hard being out here.
Because I'll be honest, like, that's kind of the thing I'm experiencing now, where, and I'm not ungrateful for that. Like a lot of people in the East, like in this area, know me like as a creative, like
right.
Because I did, for those who don't know, I did some songs for Thomas and Friends, so some people think that was cool, and then who my dad was and my lineage and all
right.
that stuff, which, by the way, is not a step in the a foot in the door. That's a lot of people think, like, oh, just because your dad was famous, like that means that you're going to be famous. I'm like, absolutely not.
No, not at all.
Half of the world doesn't even know I exist.
Exactly.
Like,
and nobody's going to stick their neck out in this business either. No. That's the other thing. No one's going to be like, well, I'm a fan of your dad's music, so clearly I'm going to take a chance on you. No, that's not the way things work. People assume it is, but it's really not.
And that's why, like, and this is going to be really corny, but my high school senior quote was, life's like a movie, write your own ending. Because, I mean, the truth is, in that quote, yeah, you write your tomorrow. Like, you put in the work and there will be fruit of your labor. Yes. It might not be exactly what you thought, but it'll be there. And for me, like, that whole philosophy is truly how I live my life, because it's like, yeah, I'm writing my ending. Like, I know how I want this to end. I know what I want in life.
Right.
Like, family, movies, like, TV, like, that's my industry. If it's not the mainstream one, cool, I'll do it anyway.
Right. If I can make a living doing this, and that's been my goal anyway. It's like, and that's why I do the show, and that's why I, write screenplays and everything. So I'm like, I'm doing it. I want to do it. I'm not going to wait for permission.
No, exactly.
If I want to do this, I'm just going to keep doing it.
That's the thing. If you wait for permission, that's when you're dead.
That's when you live in hope and die in despair.